We're doing the chin-ups right now. So the primary muscle mover when he's lifting is his rhomboids and lats. And when he's lowering, the primary muscle mover is his latissimus dorsi and his triceps. So the type of resistance exercise, it should be dynamic constant, pull, multi-joint, close chain, non-structural, and it is a bilateral resistance exercise. And you can also use the band to make it easy. If you can do 1 or 2 more pulling ups, and that should be it for chin ups. And make sure your chin is above the bar. Alright, doing the warm up row. So for the position, just gotta make sure his wrist is underneath his shoulder and his legs is beside the bench. So he's gonna perform the lifting phase right now. So on the lifting phase, he's moving concentrically, so you should be exhaling. On the lowering phase, moving eccentrically, so he should be inhaling. And on the lifting phase, his elbow should be flexion, in flexion position. And in lowering phase, his elbow should be extension. So the primary mover of this muscle is going to be his rhomboids, and the joint would be his shoulder girdle. So if you're not really sure about the position, you can grab one of these sticks and put it on his back. So the stick should be touching his back of his skull, like that. And the tailbone or the butt should be touching the stick. So you can ask your client to stick up his butt. And the lumbar vertebrae should be touching the stick too, which is this. So right now he's moving dynamic constant. It is structural. And he's performing an open chain exercise because his hands moving through space. And that's everything for one arm row.
We will be doing the bent over row. As you can see, his legs are parallel to the floor and his hips are slightly wider than hip width. So as he demonstrates, his hand is at his hip right now, so it's slightly wider than his hip width. Okay, so now he's going to be starting the procedure by lifting up the barbell. Okay, so while going concentrically, he exhales, eccentric, inhale, concentric, exhale, eccentric, inhale. Okay, and on the lifting phase, he's lifting and lowering phase. The joints which are being moved are the shoulder joint, the elbow joint, and the shoulder girdle. So when lifting, his shoulder joint is flexing, which is flexion, and his elbow joint is flexing, which is flexion, and lifting is retraction for his shoulder girdle. Okay, so the primary mover for the shoulder joint will be the latissimus dorsi, and the elbow joint will be the bicep, while the shoulder girdle will be the rhombus or the rhomboid. While doing the bent over row, it's a dynamic constant. It's also a pull and multi-joint, open chain, and it's also structural because it's fine enough to be in line, as you can see right there. And also it's bilateral. I can demonstrate that his spine is in line by using the stick here. So he's keeping his head straight. He's keeping his head straight. Go and he's lifting. So you can see that his body is in the right posture.
Pull-ups right now. So in the pull-ups, you can either do the wide grip or close grip. So he's doing the wide grip right now, but just make sure your hands outside the bar. So when the lifting phase, he's doing the lifting phase. So he's moving concentrically. He's exhaling. And the lowering phase is eccentrically moving. So he's inhaling. So for doing the pull-ups, you can either use the band if you can do one or two more exercise. So the muscle that I'm moving on the concentric phase is lifting his elbow and shoulder. So when he's lifting his flexion, and when he's lowering his extension, his elbow and shoulder. So the lowering phase, his shoulder girdle, shoulder joint are moving, and his elbow joint are moving as well on the lowering phase. So when he's lowering, the shoulder girdle should be in retraction, and the shoulder joint should be on the protraction, and his elbow joint should be on the extension. So the primary muscle mover on the lifting phase is his bicep and latissimus dorsi, and on the lowering phase it's latissimus dorsi and his triceps. So on the type of precision exercise, it's moving dynamic constant. It's full resistant exercise. It's multi-joint exercise, and it's close chain. It's also non-structural and bilateral movement. So we're doing the dumbbell bench press right now. So on the dumbbell bench press, the position, repeat, should be touching the ground, just like that. Your arm, your shoulder, or your elbow should be underneath the chest. And should be starting in lifting position always. So on the lowering position, it's moving eccentrically, so it's inhaling. And on the lifting position, it's moving concentrically, so you should be exhaling. As you can see, it's exhaling on the lifting position. And the muscle that I'm moving in the lifting phase are his shoulders and elbow, as well as the lowering phase. The muscle that I'm moving are his shoulders and elbows. So the primary muscle mover on the lifting phase, this is pectoralis major, serratus anterior, and triceps. So the primary muscle that I'm moving on the lowering phase is his pectoralis major, serratus anterior, and his tricep brachii. And the resistant exercise on this type of exercise are dynamic constant, push, multi-joint, and open chain. It is also non-structural and bilateral resistant exercise. And that should be it on the dumbbell bench press.
We will be doing right now we'll be doing the deadlift. As you can see, he's lining up his lace underneath the barbell. So the last lace of his shoe right here should be lined up with the barbell, as you can see. His hand is on his waist, so it should be wider than hip width, and you should be standing parallel on the floor. So now he's gonna start his deadlift. So as you see, he started his deadlift. So going down eccentrically, he inhale. Going up concentrically, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So the primary joint, the joint for this movement is the knee and the hip joint. And the primary muscle movers are, for the hips are the gluteus maximus, hamstring, and the knee is the quadricep or the quad. As you can see at the knee joint, when lifting, he extend. It's extension when bending, when lowering. It's flexion right there. Yeah, that's flexion. So he's going. So for the deadlift, it's dynamic constant. And as you go, you can see it's a pull, multi-joint movement, close chain also, structural and bilateral, because he's doing a lot of action with all of it, his entire body, so it's bilateral. And as we can see, he's in great form. his chest is lighting up like a headlamp right here, so it's shining upward. See? Okay, that's a great form right there. So we are going to be doing the bent over row. This is this.
Hit the down first. Get the down.
What?
Get the down.
So we are going to be doing the bent over row, and as you can see, his feet are parallel to the floor, and his hip is slightly wider than hip width. As you can see, he's holding his hip. Okay, and for this, his waist is under the. Yeah, it's the same thing. In the box squat today, as you can see, the bar is lined up in the middle of the sternum of Jansen's chest. So he's going to be starting the lifting facing of the box squat. His leg should be wider than hip width. His leg should be parallel to the floor. So now he's going to start. He starts by flexing by the hip and then bending his knee after. So that's how you do a good box squat. As he comes up, he exhale, and he goes down, he inhale. So when going against gravity, you exhale. When going with gravity, you inhale. Okay, so the primary movers that are moving right now while he's doing the box squat, at the hips, it flexes and hits the gluteus maximus and the hamstring. And his knee would be the quads, which is the quadriceps. So as we go along, you will see the form of his box squat. As you can see, his spine is really neutral. It's really neutral. This is a dynamic constant. This exercise is known as a push, multi-joint, and also close chain. And this movement is also a structural because you have to keep the spine in lining. And also this is a bilateral because all of his body is moving and doing the action. And this is the end of the box squat. So we'll be doing the front squat now. So we are going to be doing practically the same thing. His chest is lined up with the bar, the middle of the sternum, which the bar should be. Okay, so he's going to start the lift phase at the front. He used only 3 fingers or 2 fingers for the technique. As you can see, his legs should be hip width and parallel to the floor. And as you can see, his elbow is pointing straight forward. Okay. As he go down, he inhale. Coming up, he exhale. Inhale, eccentric, the exhale. And that's going down. His spine is pretty much in neutral. And the primary muscle movers for the hips are gluteus maximus as well. And it's also the hamstring. And for the knee, it would be the quads, which is the quadriceps. Those are the primary muscles in the movement. This is dynamic constant. It's also a push, multi-joint, close chain, and also structural and bilateral because he's moving all of his body. So as you can see, he's going. His elbow is pointing straight forward. Okay. Going with gravity, he inhale. Going again, exhale. So on the eccentric phase, we inhale. Concentric phase, exhale. Okay. Okay, so we are back again. So we are going to be doing the box squat. As you can see, his legs are parallel to the floor. He's holding the weight towards his chest. And when doing this exercise, your knee should be in line with your ankle. So he's going to be starting the phase right now. When coming against gravity, exhale. So inhale, exhale, eccentrically inhale, concentrically exhale. Okay, he's going there. And he's doing everything. As you can see, he's really in form. His spine is at neutral. He's hitting the edge of the bench, which is the right way. And when doing this phase, the primary muscle mover is gluteus maximus and hamstring. And this is also the primary mover for the knee is also quads, which is the quadriceps. And as you can see, it is dynamic constant. It's also a push multi-joint because the knee and the hip is moving and changing angles. And it's a closed chain, structural, and it's also bilateral. As you can see, he's in great form.
Okay, we're doing the barbell bench press right now. So on the barbell bench press, the position, your wrist should be labeled with the bar. Your eyes should be underneath the bar. And your back, there should be space on your back and the bench. So you can just arch your back a little bit. So he's starting the lifting position right now. So when he's lowering the bar, he's moving eccentrically, so he should be inhaling. And when he's lifting the bar, he's moving concentrically, so he should be exhaling, as you can see. So on the lifting phase, the joint that are moving is his elbows and his shoulder. On the lowering phase, it's pretty much the same, his elbow and shoulder. So when he's lowering, his elbow is flexion, and his on lifting phase, his elbow is extension. It's in extension position, just like that. So the primary muscle mover on the lowering phase should be pectoralis major and serratus anterior. And on the lifting phase is pectoralis major and serratus anterior, as well as his tricep brachii. So the resistance exercise on this type of exercise is dynamic constant. It is a push exercise, multi-joint, open chain, and non-structural exercise. It is also a bilateral exercise. And that's pretty much it for the barbell bench press.